Okay, there we go. We are streaming. Fantastic.
This is perfect.
So, hello, everybody. Hopefully, you're joining us from all over Kenya and possibly outside as well. I would just give a quick introduction to Techfugees Kenya. So, my name is Gemma. I'm one of the volunteers here in Kenya. My background is actually fundraising. But I've worked with a lot of youth and refugee organizations using technology. Techfugees is actually a volunteer-led organization with chapters around the world, Kenya being one of them. Our first project was developing a tool within Kakuma camp in Kenya to help refugees report any outbreaks of disease, which now Kenya Red Cross is using. We're also working with Buffalo Grid to help. It's hardware basically that is provides internet. It is solar powered and also can contain content. So people can use mobile phones to download that content and then digest it later offline. And then today, we're really excited to have Renato on the line with us. We have been donated very kindly from Endless 20 of their units. So we are looking to give them out to partners in Kakuma camp, which we will go into later in the call. And yeah, as I say, my name is Gemma, and I think I will hand it over to Renato to give his introduction.
Perfect. Can you hear me well?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to be here to talk to the Techfugees team and community. I think the Techfugees and Endless OS Foundation, we have a synergy that it's crazily important. And I'm here to talk a little bit about that. How do we connect deeply and to demo Endless OS, one of our, I would say, the main solutions that we have developed, like a full desktop operating system developed for digitally divided populations. And when I talk about digitally divided populations, it's not only about refugees, also about users in the prison system, people, families in the slums, students in offline schools, rural areas. So again, any area where we see the exclusion and the division, right? For technology, for information, for opportunity. So yes, I'm going to share my screen. Just
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so first I would like to start talking that in the last 10 years we have been developing technologies to digitally divided populations, right? And the four pillars that guide us among all our actions somehow we learn by doing that to really like digitally impact people, we need to consider these four pillars. The first one is access, right? Make sure people, they have access to a device. It can be a computer, it can be a USB stick, but again, the digital inclusion starts with a device, right? The second is digital literacy. This means that you can have a device, but you know how to use it. It is intuitive. For a lot of people like me, probably you, we learn how to use technology by having computer classes. But today, the new reality is you can just have a cheap prepaid smartphone and start using it. Even if you don't have, you saw it or someone already lended you, so you try it, experience, right? So you know how to use it because it's quite intuitive, right? It's easy to use, it's simple. Again, what should we do to make technology as simple as a smartphone, right? So this is something that we went to the field like in the last 10 years, doing several user researches, user testings, to understand how people deal with technology, what do they need, right? So again, it's not about reinventing the wheel, right? It's not a new operating, it's a new operating system, but not entirely new from scratch, right? We consider like what people already use, what they want, what they need, and then we adjust it and we develop, right? So this is why Endless OS it's so important for digital divided populations, because you're gonna see, right? It's easy to use like a smartphone. The third pillar is you can have a device, you can know how to use it, but you just said that. What about connectivity? 10 years ago, we used to tell people we are developing technologies that will work more offline. And people used to tell us, you're crazy, right? In 2 years, everyone's going to have access to internet. And look where we are right now. Around 10 years later, the same amount of people, 46% of the world population without access to connectivity. And here I'm not talking about scrolling Facebook or sending WhatsApp messages, right? Which can be like quite cheap with a prepaid plan. I'm talking about accessing your, I don't know, your Google Classroom, your school platform, an education platform, online courses that can empower you, right, professionally. So this is a barrier, right? Connectivity, data plan is a barrier for people. Access. So this is the third pillar. And the last pillar is engagement. You can have a smartphone, you can have a device, right? You can know how to use it. It can solve basically the connectivity, like you just mentioned, Buffalo Grid. They have these amazing hubs, right, where people can connect even if they are offline, right? Or for example, in the prison system, in the world possible in the US, they have the Rachel server, which also hosts like websites, like pages from the internet, so people can access. But again, what about in the long term? How this device is developing you? It's offering you learning pathways for you to engage with the computer or the smartphone or the tablet or the USB in the long term. And this can transform your life, right? And give you and brings you opportunity. And this is really important. These four pillars together makes what we believe the perfect digital inclusion scenario, right? If all of them are together. It's not easy. It also depends on interacting with different people and different agents, right? So today I'm going to demo you Endless OS. Endless OS, you can know more if you want by going to endlessosfoundation.org. It's a free desktop operating system. And this is Endless OS. Oh, sorry, let me just remove here my... this is weird. 1 second. Oh, let me remove the Zoom tab. Okay, perfect. Sorry, the Zoom icon, the Zoom grid here just gave a shadow. Okay, so this is Endless OS. Remember that I was talking about literacy? Look at that. It looks like a smartphone. Usually people tell me that, right? Oh, it looks like my smartphone. So they just start using it, right? There's no such thing as, oh, it's a new computer. Can you teach me how to use it? No, it looks like a smartphone. We have developed to bring the same experience, understanding that smartphones, they will never replace computers. They are complementary. It's different needs, right? When you think about computers, it's about deep dive experience, a learning process where you need to immerse yourself, spend time, you need a bigger screen, right? Let me give an example. I was talking to teachers in Teach for America, and some of them was talking about their students with cognitive dysfunctions, and they said, oh, they cannot use a smartphone because it's too small for them, right? And they don't have computers, so they're not studying. So look at the gap and the division that we are facing right now, even more because of the entire pandemic, right? So this is Endless OS. It's app-based, right? So it's everything one click away. We do have our App Center, right? Our App Center offers you, I'm using the English free version, right? Everyone can go online on endlessos.org, endlessosfoundation.org, sorry, endlessos.org or endlessos.com and download EndlessOS for free. It's a free operating system, right? So I'm using the English version. It comes with around 100 applications, most of them offline. Some require internet, like for example, Spotify, you need internet to download the music once at least. But again, it's organized by categories, learnings, references, games. And you can also explore, like I was doing, or search. You can also see what's installed in your app store, right? All the applications. You can uninstall if you want. If you want to install, it doesn't exclude this from the computer, right? It's still here in the computer. So you can still like install again to show it on the desktop, right? A nice thing, let's see, this one is installed, right? If you connect a USB, you could just click this button here, insert USB to copy to. So think about that. You have a computer lab in a refugee camp, right? Now you have connectivity. So you could download several applications, a lot of content to a USB stick, connect USB stick, transfer to the USB stick, take this USB stick into the labs, and then update all these computers, not only with content, but also the system update, right? So this is how we see that we can change the scenario, right? So we're rethinking ways like that, right? So this is it. And updates, a new tab here for updates. On the updates, you have two different updates on Endless OS, like the system updates and the content updates. You can choose what you want to update, again, to be restrictive to your data plan. And you can also, there's no update, it's up to date in here. You can click to automatic update if you have connectivity. If you don't have, there are also other functions. For example, if you come in here, you can schedule an update. So yeah, so you can schedule the update. Why this matters? Let us think about, for example, one example. In Guatemala, we had some partnerships with Claro, with some ISPs. So now imagine that you can offer like a cheap data plan for the digitally divided populations in Guatemala, right? I don't know, $1 a month, let's say something like that. But they can only use this internet from midnight to 1 a.m., like we used to use the internet a long time ago, right? So they can really save their data plan and use this specific plan. And now they can schedule their computer to update only during this time, right? Considering this data plan. So this allows us to offer other opportunities together with other partners, right? So this is an important feature that we have developed. One important thing about updates is that they will never like break your computer or slow your computer or stop what you're doing. It happens in the back end, right? So it's small packages. You always download small packages, like not the entire operating system, like it used to happen with other OSs. So this is the App Center. On the desktop, you can only add apps or organize apps inside folders, like with apps. So there's no such thing as that you go to the internet, download files, and in the end, your desktop super crowded with files that you don't even remember. It's like a smartphone, so you can really organize it simply using applications or groups of applications. There's also multiple desktops. So I'm going to the right. So you can organize it. It's responsive if you have a computer with like that screen or that can turn. It's responsive to your computer. And it's really important. Endless OS is not Windows OS, it's not Mac OS, or it's not Android OS, right? Or other Linux OSs. So it's important to mention that when it comes to compatibility, there are some barriers, right? You cannot install directly applications from Windows. You cannot install directly Android or Mac OS. But we are connected to a huge app repository called flathub.org. So there is a bar here that. Okay. So flathub.org. This repository here, it's a Linux-based repository. Okay, let me pause here. Linux. It's I'm talking about the open source community, like that work to democratize access to information, to code, to technology, right? And this community part of this community developed this repository here called FlatHub. On FlatHub, there are more than 1,000 applications. All these applications in here are compatible with Endless OS. So this means that, oh, Renato, can we create a version of Endless OS to Kakuma refugee camp with, I don't know, I saw that there are 30 applications in here that we could use inside Kakuma, could be relevant. Yes, we could. If they are non-proprietary, let me show the difference, right? Spotify, if you can come here, it's a proprietary license, right? Because it belongs to a company, right? So I cannot pre-install on Endless OS. You can download as an user for free, but I cannot pre-install on Endless OS. But it's not all of them. Some of them are proprietary, but most of them are not proprietary, and we can just, look at that, the license in here, it's not proprietary, right? So I can just preload an Endless OS. So there are thousands of applications in here that are compatible with Endless OS. What happens if you click to download this application, automatically it will install inside our App Center. So we have connected Endless OS to the open source community, like endorsing this huge repository, which is also something really important. Why? Because this online repository called flathub.org, it brings us safety. In 10 years working at Endless and using Endless, we never had one single case of virus, right? And this is true. There are two reasons, right? The architecture of the system that protect the system, so it's read-only. The user do not interfere in the architecture, and also because of our installation process, right? App installation process, using this repository, which is a safe repository that we trust. In all these apps, they were curated, let's say like that, right? So you won't download applications in here with virus. So this brings us also safety. The FlatHub repository is really important for us. And you can also download and put into a USB stick and then go to a computer lab and again, install an Endless OS, right? Oh, Renato, what happens? Can I develop applications to Endless OS? You can. If here inside is the same repository, FlatHub, there is a section talking about the Flatpak, which they teach you how do you create applications to be compatible with this repository here with the extension .flatpak, let's say like that. And then this application will be compatible with Endless OS, right? And this solves the third pillar that I was talking about, the connectivity. Now, think about that. We just ship it. Ship it. No, we tried to ship because of because we couldn't. But people in Malawi from Moving Windmills, one of our partners, they downloaded a version of 200 gigabytes, an Endless OS Malawi 200 gigabytes version. We're talking about an operating system with 200 gigabytes of content, not only applications, but also educational content, right? And this makes a huge difference when it comes to digitally divided population without access to a good quality connectivity or without any kind of connectivity, right? So this is what we mean by we understand that preloading content today is the best path for us to impact our users where they live, understanding that for them to get access to internet, it requires infrastructure, it requires investment, it can take time. And they don't have time. They cannot wait for 10 years, right? The urgency, it's super high. So preloading content makes a huge difference. Oh, Renato, but what happens if I use applications on Windows or other operating systems and I want to use an Endless OS? So there are some ways, right? First, in this repository, the FlatHub, and also in our App Center, you're going to see like several applications that are substitutive for the applications people use on Windows. All right, for example, LibreOffice. LibreOffice is a free version for the Office, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. It is compatible, right? Let me just open here. So I'm opening. You can save files or open files from Windows for the Word on Endless OS, or export the files using LibreOffice. As you can see, it's not the same because again, the open source community developed this application, right? To be similar to Word. It's not Word, it's LibreOffice, but it's compatible. So if I come in here, File, Save As, and I'm clicking here, look at that. I can export Word 2007, Word 97. So again, you can export the file so other computers using Windows, they can open it, right? So this is one way. So it's not only about the substitute for Word, but we also have for Excel and PowerPoint. And again, for our users, let's talk about digitally divided population. We're not talking about advanced users. We're not talking about gamers, people with higher level expectations. We're talking about people that some of them never used a computer before. People are starting to use, they use smartphones, but again, they never used a computer before. They are students, they are mothers, they are elder people, they are teachers, they are people that use social media. For them, again, Endless OS, it's really simple and easy and offer what they need, right? For basic and intermediate users. If you move like more towards like I would say advanced user with higher expectations, of course you will not be able to use some things in here, right? And there are also solutions for these types of users. But again, this is the same like Excel, the substitute for Excel from LibreOffice. There's also GIMP. I'm searching GIMP. So the GIMP is a substitute for Photoshop, preloaded on Endless OS. And there are other applications like substitute for video editor, audio editor, like vectors for design. So there are several applications that you can use that replace the original ones for a free version of this app, right? From the open source community. All these applications are free. It's really important to mention. Endless OS is free. This is one of the barriers that we solve. Look at that. It looks like Photoshop, although it's not Photoshop, but it's substitutive. Let me pause here. Do you have any questions or comments?
Does anybody here have any questions so far?
No, I'm good.
Perfect. So feel free to ask me.
I'm also good, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Oh, one important thing. Can I install Endless OS on my computer? There are different ways for you to install Endless OS, right? Let me just show you here. So we have like the free version of Endless OS, where you can download in our page. Also, let me move to English. Yeah, so you can come in here on endlessos.com, right, and download. You can try or install on your computer. So you choose your language. We have English, Spanish, French, Portuguese. You can also change the language in the system after you download, but these are our language where we have like content. There's also the specific version we developed to deliver right to Kakuma, which is a version we used to have in Kenya. So again, with specific languages. But you can download this one of these versions in here. It is compatible with any computer with 64 bits, right? So again, this is the first minimal requirement. The second requirement, we advise people it's a computer with 2 to 4 giga of RAM. I know cases of NGOs worldwide that, for example, they get computers from the trash, they refurbish these computers, and now they're installing Endless OS. Even with like really old hardwares, they are installing the simple version, right? The basic version is 2 gigabytes. There's no preloaded content. Or the other versions, like the English version, 16 gigabytes. It's 16 gigabytes with around, I don't know, 100 applications. It's a lot of content, right? And we can also customize, like I gave the example for Malawi, moving windmills to 100 gigabytes. We also have a version for a virtual machine. Again, if you are an advanced user using Mac OS, or you want to keep using your OS but try Endless OS, you can virtualize the experience and you can download the virtual machine version, right? Or if you are a student at school and you are teaching your students computer science, code education using Raspberry Pi, there is also a version for Raspberry Pi, right? There's also a version for ARM, Pinebook. Well, so these are the options that we have. Like you can download, click to download, and then you have the file. You're gonna create a USB stick and you can reflash the computer, or you can just connect the USB and try Endless OS in your computer, right? Again, without installing. This is another way, booting through the USB. The other path is we have developed like a dual boot installation process, which is really simple. You click to download, follow the .xal file, and then you install Endless OS together with Windows. This means that you can keep using your computer with Windows and then using part of the computer to host to install Endless OS. It won't damage Windows. You can still like choose which files when you turn on your computer to use, right? But this was an installation process for the people that it's still using the other computers, like teachers. Sometimes they need to use their computer, but they won't use Endless because their students are using Endless, so they can try Endless and use Endless to plan their classes, while they use specific applications as they are more advanced, right? Depending on the profile of the user, right? So these are the paths for you to try and use Endless OS. Moving forward, again, I mentioned like applications. So I talked about device, like now you have a computer. Now this computer is easy to use. We're talking about literacy. Now this computer comes preloaded with information, right? What about the engagement, the learning pathways? So again, Endless OS just provides this amazing ecosystem. We do not control content, right? We don't produce content. For that, we work with several different partners. And one of them, the most important partners that we work with, is Learn Equality. Learn Equality, they have developed one application called Colibri. This application here, right? I'm going to show this, but let me go online. Colibri is a, oops, sorry. Colibri is a, it's here, sorry. Colibri, it's a, let's say it's an educational content platform, right? Anyone, it's for free, it's open source. You can go today, register, or even just explore without an account. Let me just click here to explore without an account to demo, right? And what you're gonna see here are channels of content, several channels of content, right? Anyone can create a channel of content, anyone can download a channel of content. So as you can see, I'm searching, okay, there is Khan Academy Spanish, Khan Academy Portuguese, Khan Academy English. So all these channels are free, right? And you could download. But you can also search. Let's see what we have for English. Oops. So I'm searching inside the Colibri platform for channels related to English, right? So you're gonna see like probably more than 2,000 channels in here. No, sorry, 1,000 results for English. several channels and content that you can download and install in a computer. So now think about that. Now you can have Endless OS, you can choose the applications you want for free, and now you can choose the channels you want, and these channels you can download and install on Endless OS. Remember the 200 gigabytes version that I mentioned to Malawi? So this is the same example. So they went to Colibri, they selected all the channels that matters for their users in Malawi, and we preloaded these channels on Endless OS. You could do the same. You could research. So let's see one of them here. Present continues. So you can download the resource. It's a video class. This video class is online, of course, right? But again, you can download this channel on Endless OS. It's quite simple and intuitive. Let me just give an example. By the way, you can download Colibri to your computer. If you're using Mac, if you're using Windows, also there's a Linux version. You can download Colibri and use in your computer so you can try and explore, right? On Endless OS, Colibri comes preloaded. And look at that. This is the application. I'm already logged, as you can see my name here. So I imported these channels in here, the free English with hello channel. So to import the channel, like if you start from scratch, you won't see channels, you just see the import button. So click on the import button, you select Colibri Studio if you don't have a local network or memory card. Like you can put Colibri, the channel inside a USB stick too. So then take to the lab and then update the computers with more educational content, channels of content, right? So I click to continue, to import. And then this will redirect me, look at that, to the same platform online, right, the Colibri. And then I can choose the channels that I want. I can search for the channels, or I can import with a token. Why this matters? Because there are channels that are private. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to create a Techfugees channel, right? That's not, there are private content there. You can also create your channel private, right? If you create a channel and it's private, I'll give an example right now, right? So we have a partner in Mexico called, the Harpelu Foundation, and they work with tribal communities there, right? So they are developing channels of content in specific languages from the different tribes, right? And we are ingesting all these channels on OS and creating native apps. So I just got the token ID. I'll add the token ID in here. I click to continue. And now it will start like opening the channel. And important, you can select what you want to import. You don't need to import the entire channel, right? You can select the specific groups of content. So here we are talking about 193 megabytes of content. But some channels, they have like 63 gigabytes. So it's a lot. So be careful when you download, choose what you need. So again, now it's important. And it will be important with the other channels that I have, right? So I can just open this offline. Let's go for the hello. Again, the channel here. Think about the channels as folders and subfolders, right? Categories and subcategories. So I go inside, there are lessons. You select to play, right? But again, let me move again to the online, which is the version that you probably use a little bit, right? I was looking to the content here, and again, it's a video class for English online. And you can keep searching. There are several channels. Oh, Renato, how can we create a channel, for example, for Techfugees, or for Kakuma specifically, right? There is a second channel, a second platform from Colibri, which is called Colibri Studio. You can also register. It's for free for everyone. In Colibri Studio, you can click on New Channel, and here you create your channel, right? You put the license of the channel, of the content, the name of the name, the language, and then you can add videos, PDFs, audios, presentations, like images, and again, create this in categories and subcategories. I can give an example. So let's see let's go for the collections. Sorry, for the content library. Let's search for math. I think for math we have more than 2,000 results. But you search for the channel. Okay, look at that. So we have some channels in here. Let's go for the Ubongo for kids. Oops. Well, let's go for the Khan Academy English. On Colibri Studio, you can also see how they have organized their own channel, right? And their own content channel. So you can use as a reference for you, right? Like I mentioned, think about folders and subfolders, exactly that. Look at that, you have math by grade, science, education, economy. So if you go for math by grade, there are more sub-channels inside. This is, if you download this entire channel, you're gonna see this channel like this inside in your computer, right, offline. So first grade, place value, number from 0 to 120. Again, it's a channel created by Khan Academy, and it's preloaded on inside Colibri. Okay, so we have like number grid. It's a video class. I'll go for full screen. So you can see the references. You can also download this content and imagine that you are a teacher. You want to create your specific application because you want to teach your classes and you need pieces of parts of content from different channels. You can also create your channel, like using that to use offline in your computer. But again, this is a video class. Now you can use this offline inside a computer. And this can make a huge difference in a computer lab, or if the students are using the computer at home, right? Perfect. So yeah, this is Colibri, and this is one of our main partners. And Colibri offers Endless OS and our users the learning pathway that I was talking to you, right? So now you can have a version of Endless OS with several applications, 100, 200 applications, plus you can select the content you want to use offline, right, by using Colibri. Renato, how can I create native channels also on Endless OS? If you create a channel on Colibri, we can also create shortcuts and channels like that on Endless OS. I'll give an example of channels from partners, right? You probably know, considering Kenya, but again, Kitabu, Ubongo, quite famous in Kenya. So we have preloaded, and we have an application for that. Sorry, my connectivity is a little bit slow. Look at that. This is the application. We have the preloaded videos, like native apps, right? So we are developing templates and frameworks to ingest the channels as applications. This still requires development, but it's under progress for the future. For now, if you download the channels, you're going to use inside the Colibri application. But this is one example that we can do. So yeah, so we have like video classes from Kitabu. This is preloaded inside the computer, right? So not only videos, but also audios, and not only audios and videos, but textbooks. I know that sometimes you have like schools in rural areas that do not receive books or the material, printed materials. So imagine how powerful it could be having a computer with all the books preloaded, right? From the local source, from the local resource to the means of education. And this is quite important. So let's go for biology, random. So yeah, it's preloaded, Kenyan literature. So it's preloaded on Endless OS, right? So now you can access all of this offline and keep studying. This is another example for you. So the Ubongo Clear Kids Lite is the same. The Lite, I believe you can also find on Colibri. So you can download as a channel, but this is a native app we have developed using the channel, of course. And this preloaded on Endless OS, and this solves the connectivity barrier, one of the main barriers that we see to our users. So look at that, preloaded. And I'm just accessing. If I remove my connectivity, I'll keep using it, right? And this is quite important. For most of our users, if they don't have connectivity, they just stop using the computer. Why keep using the computer? Or why having a computer? Or if you don't have like offline content. So by offering this learning pathways, this content, these applications, productivity, creativity applications, it makes a huge difference for to work with equality, right? So in adjusting the opportunities for them, understanding that there is a huge disparity worldwide. So yes, let me pause here. Do you have any questions so far?
Let me open the floor. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Perfect. Does it make sense to you?
I'm good too.
To the people you work with? How do you see this?
Maybe I can answer. For me, I think this is basic and it's commonly used for people who have been introduced to the open sources, although not many people are used to open source. Mostly when it comes to the management of content, or let's say what type of application people are used to specific applications that they use every day. So maybe introducing such new knowledge can help them to expand if they're interested into doing some tech works or not. But if they are not interested, then I think we should more explore different way.
It's a great comment. Yeah, in the end, when you think about digital inclusion, it's not only about providing the computer, providing the content, right? You need to create strategies for people to engage, to interact, to learn, and this is really important, right? So I agree with you. When you think about open source, not something commonly used. Like in Brazil, I believe less than 2% of the Brazilian people use open source operating systems and content. So it's a huge gap. This is why, again, MSOS is a different operating system compared to the other operating systems from the open source community, right? It was developed to the end user, with the end user, so it was co-created. There is the end user experience, and the interface looks like a smartphone, the simplicity. So this barrier, we understand that we solve it, right? The experience using the computer, the interface. Now the content, of course, we need to think how to use it. I have been giving training sessions for partners, and again, always trying to consider the user profile and their need to adjust it. For example, the students, I don't know, the students in Word Possible inside the prison system, right? They can use like Word, Excel, the GIMP to produce their specific, to edit their photos, their files. You can also record a screen, produce videos, like to teach other kids inside. All these resources are available. But again, in the end, someone needs to teach, at least one person, right? And this person can spread the news. We see things like that. Usually in a class, you have different profiles of users, or in a place you have different profiles of people, right? So you have the most advanced ones, the tech safe ones that we're gonna learn really quickly. And you can use these users as part of the process to teach, right? Even kids that know how to use a lot of computers, they can teach other kids. So again, there are different strategies, but I agree with you. You need to really plan how to use the technology. And how to insert this into a new environment. One good thing is all these open source applications from FlatHub, which are compatible with LSOS. If you go on YouTube, you can also download videos, of course, right? If you go on YouTube, you're gonna see that there are hundreds and thousands of hours on people teaching how to use applications, right? And this makes a huge difference, right? So let me give an example. LibreOffice. So I'm searching for LibreOffice, the specific application that I was mentioned, right? So look at that. It's in Portuguese because I live in Brazil, so it's using my language. But again, several classes on people how to use the LibreOffice, and you have like this type of reference online today. So again, if you find strategies for people to have access to this type of content, maybe you don't even need you to teach the kids, right? Because there are the documentations for that, not only on YouTube, but if you go to LibreOffice on Google, they have documentations, right? And videos that teach people how to use it. So the user guide, even Colibri, they have a user guide, for example, right? So you have video teaching. There are more documentations you can go there and digest, but there is a lot of information for all these applications. They have sources of more informations that can help you on how to use things. But again, it requires like planning, of course. Great comment. Okay.
Well, I have a question around, because I know a number of our partners work with children and young people, and I have actually worked with Endless before. So maybe you can talk a little bit about, there's some applications that are specifically to help children to learn how to use a computer, for instance. And there's like games for them to learn how to use the mouse. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, because I think that would be really useful for them to understand how they'll be able to teach the children to use the computers.
One of the applications actually we develop, it's called Hack, as you can see in here. Hack is a code, it's an immersive experience for computational thinking and code education, right? So you have like, sorry, let me just. So again, it's an immersive experience, not like Khan Academy with a curriculum, but you have like characters that they guide the user, the kids, on how across quests and missions, right? On different learning pathways. The pathways are games, art, web, maker, operating system. So again, they understand the concept about computer. They can change the mouse cursor. So again, it's an immersive experience where you play while you learn, right? It's not a curriculum. For curriculum, you could go on Colibri and search for computational thinking, code education. There are content there, free content, like I would say organized in a pedagogical way. Here is more like as an immersive. You can go there and learn. Now you have a computer, so you can immerse yourself, right? And you have the characters talking to you. So I'm going to run you through this program. The Clubhouse works, okay. So you go talking to her, and there are the quests and the characters and maker, depending on the profile of the quest. So look at that. So there are games in here that teach you how to code, and then you play the game. The games are preloaded on Endless OS. Also, they were developed by Endless Studio, which is another company in the Endless network, right? We are a foundation. The Endless Studio, it develops games. So the characters go talking to you. And this is one of the examples. So they offer you your goals. So yeah, here you should go. Look at that, it's not so easy. So you need to find ways. And the good thing is sometimes to pass the mission, again, in a more advanced level, of course, there is this functionality here called flip to hack. So you get some, you get some keys that will gonna open doors for you to hack the system. So in the end, in the back, with this turn, you go like running some code, some tips with the characters, and then you add I don't know, a mouse cursor to top. Then you can pass that phase, or you change the color or something, the speed of something, right? So using concepts like coding education. So this is one of the examples. So the characters are guiding me through that. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's really interactive. And I think certainly for kids, you know, something like that, and it's colorful as well, and they're learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Seems really, really useful.
Classes. Go ahead, sorry.
Does anybody else have any other questions? I know we've had a couple more people join us. Any questions specific to your organization that you think would benefit from Endless? Any questions around that?
Another thing here, most of the games, actually all of the games that are preloaded on Endless OS, here are some examples that are pre-installed on the desktop, but you could come in here, for example, on the
Tux typing, that's the one I know.
Yeah.
The typing.
So you can come in games in here and download all of the games that are available here. Most of the games, they are logic games or educational games, like the Tux typing. Tux typing is a good example. The Tux math and Tux type. Typing is to write, and math is to math education. So again, let's play along. Math common training. Addition 1 to 3. Not super hard, this one. They're easier. So again, 3 plus 1. Now we're gonna press 4 and enter. Boom. Right? And 2 plus 3, 5. 5 and enter. right? And you go like that. It go, of course, it will be harder, harder and harder. And you need to be quick.
Oh yeah.
So this is a game you are learning. You are playing. It's one of the most famous games actually that the kids they start using right away, right? And there are other functions, right? Not only to sum. So addition, subtraction, missing numbers, and there's also the there's also, so as you can see, several games in here. There's also the writing, the typing one. So tiger, right? It's coming. It's easy, of course. I'm using the easy version, but again, the tiger. So they get the fish.
Yeah. So they're learning to type on the keyboard, and obviously the quicker they get, yeah, the harder it's going to get. So, and they are also very useful skills, because I guess a lot of our target have not had access to computers before or tablets. So being able to just learn those basic skills, no matter how old they are, is incredibly important.
Yeah. This one is for physics. I used to play this some years ago. There's also this one, Compris, which is for younger kids, which is more playful. So again, this one is more for kids, right? So it's more playful.
Mm-hmm. But teaching them how to use that mouse and get that control.
Yeah, exactly that. So have control over the mouse. This is another example for you.
If you have any questions, you can also type in the chat. I know sometimes connectivity can be an issue, so feel free to type questions or comments into the chat. Maybe in the meantime, we can just go over again sort of what is it that people would need. So we obviously have the endless systems that you have donated to us. What are the other sort of criteria, I guess, that they would need to be able to use the system?
So you mean by themselves, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're looking at electricity as number one, but
Yes.
because I know we also have the tablets to go with this, so we don't necessarily need to think of the computers, but they may already have computers as well. So I guess just to go over the criteria again, because I know a few people joined a little bit later, just so that they can understand. Yeah.
So let's recap here. So Endless OS is a free desktop operating system. So anyone can download Endless OS and install it. Depending on the partnership that we have, like I just mentioned with Moving Windmills there, they have computer labs. So we have developed a specific version to the country according to their local needs, preloading applications, preloading educational content, so they can use in the computer labs. Someone asked it here, like, oh, okay, open source, not easy to use sometimes, so we need to plan. Exactly what they did, right? So they selected applications, they selected the content, and now they have a plan to teach their users in the computer labs using the specific content that they selected. So this is one example. You can just download Endless OS for free on endlessos.org or endlessos.com. Right? You can refresh a computer with Endless OS. You require a computer with 64 gigabytes or from 2 to 4 gig of RAM, right? You can also download Endless OS, put into a USB stick, do not install, and preload the computers. If you have a computer, you don't want to install, you want to boot Endless OS through USB, it's possible. If you are an advanced user using a virtual machine or Mac OS, you can use them. Sorry, with Mac OS or other computers, you can use a virtual machine and run Endless OS. If you have a school and you are teaching computational thinking or code education using Raspberry Pi, which is a cheap board, let's say like that, right? There is a version to Raspberry Pi 4, also compatible, and you can download Endless OS alongside Windows. So it's a dual boot. So you keep using Windows and also have Endless in your computer, so you can test and try Endless OS in your computer while you use Windows. So these are ways for you to try and install Endless OS. There's also a new project that we are launching in the US that I hope soon we're going to be able to provide this worldwide, which is which is the Endless Key. This here. Endless Key, it's a USB stick that together with content partners like Learn Equality and other partners, we are preloading content inside this USB stick. So you don't even need to install Endless OS. You can just plug the USB stick in any computer, right? So you can run the USB and access the content, right? What about the experience? This is experience. You're gonna see. This is a live demo, right? So these are the resources. So we have TED content. You have some of the games from Endless Studio, the coding games, also on Endless OS, right? We have like the Ocean X. So this will be preloaded inside the USB stick. Now think about that. You can have like a cheap USB stick with one, and talking to manufacturers, and now you can have a USB stick with 128 gigabytes of content, and this can make a huge difference for people that are in displaced communities, right? So by just plugging into a computer that they were not using a computer, now they can use a computer because of simple USB stick. So these are some examples of content. And I'm watching online, but you would watch running through the USB, right? So it's a video class from Ocean X. Let me go for more examples for you. So the Endless Key is available for US right now. We are testing this model inside US. But there are TED lessons, a partnership with the TED team. So you could preload this inside. TED education lessons. Look at that. So you now have also the same content that I was demoing on Endless OS. You can run inside a USB stick, and this is really powerful. You mentioned tablets. I want to. It's really important to understand. Endless OS, it's a computer operating system, right? You can install inside computers, or you can run to the USB. So you cannot install in a tablet, but you can download. They are testing right now, Learn Equality. It's testing the application, the Colibri application on Android tablets. So you could run the Colibri application inside the Android tablet. It's a prototype. If you're interested, we can connect you with Learn Equality, or you can also send a message directly for them. But again, it's possible, again, talking about tablets, right? So this is quite powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it really feels like the Endless OS is applicable all the way from young children all the way up to enthusiastic people who are already, very tech educated and possibly coding themselves. So it feels like it can really cater to quite a huge community as well.
Exactly. This is what I was talking about. When you think about digitally divided populations, we have different needs and different levels of users, right? From kids to mothers to teachers to online users, and depending on their reality, their culture too. So again, we have over this 10 years, we really went to the refugee camps, to the favela, to the slums, to the rural areas, to all emerge, to all countries, interacting with these digitally divided populations. And again, really researching how they need to use a computer. So what you're seeing here, we didn't develop because we want like that. Oh, this icon like that, the color like that, the organization like that, the search bar like that. No, it came from user research. So Endless OS was really co-created with the users. And this is really powerful. If you want to really include people digitally, we need to create technology that respect them and are developed understanding their local needs. So the best way, co-creating with them, like together with them. So, the global search bar, you can search, for example, let's search for Brazil, my country. So it's a global search bar. It will show you, okay, there's no applications in this version actually there are. So there's an encyclopedia and a travel app that brings you Brazil content, or Chromium or Chrome, of course. If you have connectivity, Endless OS work like a normal computer, right? And any other operating system using Chrome or Mozilla or Chromium, which is a free version, right? So you can watch your videos on YouTube, you can play games. There is no barriers for that, right? The same computers. Now think about that. You lost the connectivity. Can you still use the computer? Yes, you can. So I'm going for the encyclopedia. Let's go for that. The encyclopedia, it's actually the Wikipedia offline, not the entire Wikipedia. But think about that. The most searchable contents on Wikipedia worldwide, they can fit in a 1 gigabyte. So if you can compile that and add to your computer, this can make a huge difference, right? So now you have the content from Wikipedia offline. So I went to Brazil, you're gonna see like the text in here. Oh, my slow connectivity, okay. Showing you, perfect. So Brazil, so you can just learn, you can keep searching, Pedro Álvares Cabral, explore Brazil. It's one example, right? So again, you can keep searching. Oh, Renato, but the encyclopedia version to Kenya, it's missing a lot of content. No problem. We can also update it. You could help us. And this is how partners can help us, right? You can tell us the applications you want, the content you need offline, what's missing, what's not working. It's really important for us to keep working close to the community. We do not want just to deliver endless OS and bye-bye. No, we want to keep improving the experience, adjusting to each specific community need. Because if I tell you endless OS is perfect to everyone worldwide, it's a lie. Right? It's a lie, because there are different cultures and needs. Your needs in Kenya, they are not the same of the tribal communities in Mexico, or the slums in Brazil, or the prison system in the US. So how do you support your needs? You know better than us. So this is why the partners are really, really important for us, getting your feedback, your inputs, right? So this is one example. And we have more apps for that, what we call like the curiosity apps. These apps we have developed, we have organized, right? So we have Myths and Legends. This one came from our research in the fields in Guatemala. Then we expanded worldwide, understanding they use myths and legends to teach kids their culture, their ancestrality, right? So you now have like other myths and legends organized. If we have more, we can always improve applications like that. So again, think about the knowledge, this curiosity apps as knowledge apps, right? Again, it's like the encyclopedia. You can have like video, photos, videos, PDFs, files, text, and you can keep searching. So again, this is preloaded on MSOS. There are other applications that came from research, like for example, the how-to. The how-to is an application that how people go online and they type how to do something. You know that this is the most common way to search online. So why not adding videos like that on how to, right? How to finance business category. How to attract customers. I don't know. So now you can also rethink NLSOS to other type of user, right? More advanced, like professional, small business, local business, and you have this preloaded on NLSOS offline. Oh, Renato, what about languages? This is a great. Usually people ask me that. So there are some ways for you. You can connect NLSOS in a local network, online, and cable. There is the update. Like you can also use Bluetooth, right? And we have the settings panel, which is a simplified settings panel, like for example, the smartphone. So you can connect NLSOS to printers like a normal computer, right? There is privacy, there are accessibility tools. So you can change like the contrast, the light, the text, the cursor, right? The zoom. You can also create users. Like, and this is quite important too, because for example, parents, they want parental control. We have parental control. For that, you need to create an admin account, and then you can create multiple accounts for other people to use, and you can restrict the applications they're gonna use, also websites, right? But again, all the applications that we had preloaded on LSOS, they are free, and they were curated, so you will not find like bad content or content that people do not need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can change the language. Like I just said here, the region, you can change the language. There are several languages supported by the open source community. They're always translating, right? And you can change the language of the system. If you change the language of the system, and for example, you downloaded the English version of content, you probably the language and the content will not change, just the system, right? For that, you need to download the content in your local language. But again, we're always here to train our partners and to offer more information. To respect our time, I know that we have one minute.
Yeah, we've had a comment from Bengo just to say that he's happy to hear that Endless is helping people living in refugee camps and can't wait to use the product in Kakuma. So that's really great to hear. If anybody does have any other questions or comments, then you can comment on our Facebook group. and we'll be able to get back to you. But we will be getting in contact with you all after this demo to talk about how we will roll this program out. And we just all want to thank Renato so much for his time and being able to go through this with us, as well as the really kind donation. We can't wait to be using this and hopefully sharing with you some pictures of our people working with Endless. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you all. And again, feel free to reach out to us. We are really happy with this donation and partnership. And we want to learn from the experience in the refugee camps. For us, it's really, really important, the feedback, so we can keep improving what you just said. Again, everything here is possible of customization. It is possible to customize. Let's work together to make this as more impactful as possible to your users. So thank you for that.
Great to hear. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.